So, it's that time of the season when it finally doesn't suck to get a trace rifle bounty for Crucible, aka Momentum Control is back in town. Or at least it was. Now, I've already said that my favorite Crucible mode is Team Scorched, but my second favorite is Momentum Control. One of the great things about Team Scorched is that it's a level playing field, where the only difference between any two players is their flavor of jump. For Momentum Control, it's the exact opposite. The entire goal of the mode is to find a build as broken and unfair as possible. So for this video, I want to talk about a few builds that I feel work pretty well with the cheesy mechanics of Momentum Control. For the first build, we'll start on Titan with the Peacekeeper's double SMG loadout. SMGs are the gold standard for Momentum Control, as they can take as few as 3 bullets to kill at anywhere from 600 to 900 rounds per minute. There are a lot of SMGs to choose from, but to help narrow down this list, I think you should take one 600 RPM for more mid-ranges, and a faster firing one for closer distances. Unless you have a perfect multi-max, then just use that everywhere and you'll have no problems. However, I think a relatively hidden pick is the Huckleberry. When you get a kill, it refills the mag and the game mode gives you full health on a kill, so it really lets you chew through a bunch of people in a row without slowing down. It doesn't have the best range, but hey, that's what your other SMG is for. For my build, I used this stat Fiend Shair's Wrath, and since I'm using Bottom Tree Striker, I get a bunch of handling from Elemental Capacitor. This loadout lets you have a lot of fun just running around and getting into fights, and the super is also surprisingly strong. So long as you are able to get a kill, your health springs back up to full and you get more super energy. Paired with the pretty good mobility of the shoulder bash and the deceptively good slam splash damage, this super can go on some pretty decent streaks. This build is really strong in every department, except for range. So just don't get Widow's Court and you're golden. Also, a quick bonus tip, the new trace rifle, Ager Scepter, allows the user to exchange their super for a damage buff. In Momentum Control, you don't lose your super continuously after activating the buff, so you can just trade a quarter of your super to get a gun that does some pretty decent damage. So if you're going to use it, I'd suggest getting your super first with a different weapon and then switching to take advantage of that feature. So, how do you fight someone using this build? Well, all you have to use with this loadout is weaken. Range. Scout and pulse rifles work wonders against SMG users outside of medium range, and snipers can one-shot body people too. With all this talk of ranged weapons, that leads into the next build. For this one, I'm using Lemon on Hunter with Oathkeepers. There are a couple great choices for subclass. We have Bottom Tree Goldie, which incentivizes headshots, Middle Tree Void, which incentivizes crouching before getting headshots, and Stasis. Why do headshots matter so much with the bow? It's a one-shot. On top of all of the precision bows one-shot critting, Trinity and Lemon also allow for some pretty scummy kills. Getting Trinity's perk procced once lets you just run around shooting near people for free kills. Lemon will let you body shot anybody so long as they don't get a health boost from a rift or a kill. Now, this build achieves maximum cheese when used with spectral blades along with a camp heavy playstyle, but sitting there and only waiting for people to push you sitting crouched in a corner is lame. Don't do this. It's lame. Also, the Hunter supers don't really have as much to offer as the other two classes in this mode. They offer less damage resistance, and the TTK for most of the weapons can actually sort of compete with Golden Gun, so it isn't that much better than just using a normal weapon. However, none of this matters if you can just keep hitting heads with your bow, or bodies if you use Lemon and Trinity. So how do you counter such a good range option? That leads us on to our next build. In order to counter this build, you need to survive a one-shot headshot. In order to do this, we need a well. That's right, with the recent Stag and Well buffs, you are essentially invincible to all incoming damage, along with your immunity to stasis. With a one-shot DMT. It couldn't be more of a point-and-click adventure. To shore up the close range, you can pair DMT with a good SMG, like that Shayura's from earlier. Now, this build doesn't have the same close range capacity to go on a tear like the Titan build, or the cheesy one-shot all-the-time power of the Hunter loadout we just looked at, but when the well goes down, neither of the two previous builds would be able to budge this Warlock. Eventually, the well subsides, and you're left with a decent set of guns, but nothing too overpowered for a normal game of momentum control. So how do you counter this build? Well, just don't go near the well. It doesn't move, it can't follow you. All you have to do is resist the urge to charge certain death. This is much easier said than done, but if you're facing a 6-stack of well locks chaining wells around the map like a hungry caterpillar, all I can do is wish you luck, cause you're gonna need it. Or you can just Thunder Crash, that works too. So hopefully you've seen something in this video to inspire a new or different loadout you can run next time that momentum control comes around. As cheesy as it is, I think it's one of the most interesting and fun places to spend an evening in the Crucible. So, thanks for watching.